Hi again. I wanted to create a video to help you do a short haircut trim. So this will help keep you looking and feeling neat, even though you're overdue for a haircut at this point. So I just want to give you some tips and tricks on short hair cutting, and I'm going to use my cute little nephew as a model. So here we go. Okay, here's my model, Rocco. He has great head of hair, a little bit of wave in here, but you can see he's getting a little bit shaggy. He's a little shaggy around the ears right here, and it's probably how some of you are starting to look at this point. Okay, so what I have here is I have Rocco's hair a little bit damp, and I'm kind of moving some things out of the way here so I can see what's going on. And as you can see, we have a little hair around the ear, we have a little extra hair back through here, and we just want to do a light cleanup. So what I would do is dampen the hair slightly, comb everything down, and go around the ear to clean this up lightly. So you're just going to nip away. Sometimes I like to hold the ear down so you can get in there and just get these little guys out of the way. He's doing a really good job of sitting still. So see, I didn't go too far above so you see a bunch of the skin around the ear, but I did clean that up a little bit. The other thing that I think is a little too long is this sideburn. So I'm going to go across here. We're going to trim that up. We'll trim up a little bit out of his face. We're just going around the edges. Then my next step is I'm going to pull this hair from the top away from the hair from the bottom. Remember about men's and boys in short haircuts is that you work straight up and down like this. You don't want to use the round of the head. You want to cut the hair so it's 90 degrees, and then this long part stays long. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hold my fingers out, and I'm going to take off just this little corner right here. Little snip, snip. I'm going to do the same thing right here, just that little tiny corner. And just that little tiny corner. So now you can see, I didn't go super short, but he definitely looks a little bit neater and a little tidier. Okay, now we're gonna work on the back. And one thing that we wanna look at is we all have this little growth pattern right through the top. So you wanna find where that is so you don't accidentally cut it too short and end up with like a little sprout sticking up. So I'm just roughing up Rocco's hair to see if I can find it. He has a really nice growth pattern here. So I'm gonna separate a little bit below that growth. Get that out of the way, kind of like I did with the longer hair on the top. We're just gonna section that out of our way. And as you can see, he has fringe down here that is getting a little bit mullety. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna continue from this side I started working on when I was working on 90 degrees. I'm gonna do that same thing. So I'm gonna cut off that little corner right there, and we're just gonna work right up the head. And I'm gonna take another section, and we're gonna take off that little corner right there. And we're gonna work on another one. We're gonna do that from here to here until we meet that other side. So we're gonna work from the top down. And then I just have a few little strays right here. All right, so we got a light little cleanup right there. Now we're gonna start working with this back here. Now if I look at Rocco's neck, his hair grows straight up, which is gonna be a little bit of a challenge to blend that in. And if I was to go and cut it straight across, it would look pretty funny. So I'm gonna start over on this side again. I'm gonna connect with this original section that I started. So you can see where I cut last time is right there. And this is the new hair that I need to cut. And I'm gonna follow it down to the base of his neck. I'm gonna do the next section next to it. Here's where I cut last time. Here's the extra I'm cutting off. I'm moving over. Here's where I cut last time. There's our new section. I'm going all the way around to this corner here and cutting that. Now we are left with this little fringe back here. I mean, it would be kind of cute to leave a tail on Rocco. I feel like he's pretty hardcore. He could pull that off. But I think for the sake of this video, we're gonna take this off. So I'm lifting it up. I'm right to his hairline in the back. I'm lifting it up slightly, and I'm gonna cut off this little curl, and I'm gonna see what it's doing. And I'm just gonna go in and clean up any little fringe, this little curl over here. Because what I want it to do is I want it to lay really natural. The more you cut into this, the more lines and the harder the grow out is gonna be. And the point of this little trim is to show you how to just get through until we reopen the salon again. There, so that's the back. Now we're gonna move to blending the top, this long hair that we haven't cut, with what we've trimmed up on the sides. And we're just gonna do it really simply by combing this down. I'm gonna part his hair in the center. I'm gonna comb the sides down, and I have a little bit of an overhang right here. So I'm gonna do the same thing that we did. 90 degrees out, my hands are up and down 90 degrees. Here's where we cut before. Here's the corner that we're gonna cut off. We're just gonna follow that above his ear. We're gonna work our way around to blending this back section. So we kind of tousled this around so we could see his growth pattern. And now we need to blend it. You can see where we need to blend it with the hair that we cut previously. So we're gonna follow our line from the side. We're gonna hold the hair 90 degrees out. Here's our guide. Here's where the 90 degrees is. We're gonna cut off that little triangle. We're gonna move around. Cut that little triangle. All right, we've got parted somewhat in the middle, so we can do this side blend over here. Wonderful. Now we're going to work on the top section. That's going to be simply creating a little channel down the middle and holding it straight up in the air and just taking off those little bitty ends. Straight up in the air and taking off those little ends all the way to your front section. And I'm gonna do one more section like that on both sides. So I'm gonna bring this to my middle section and I'm gonna trim off the ends. And one more right here. So we have some length in the front that is just getting into his eyes. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a little triangle in the front. I'm going to pull this triangle down and I'm going to see if I cut too short, he's gonna have bangs way up here, right? Or his fringe in the front will be up too high. I just wanna take off that little tiny end so it keeps the hair out of his eyes. I'm gonna flip my scissors upside down. I'm gonna pull this away from the head, and I'm gonna just notch into this section. I'm gonna do the same thing with this side. I'm gonna bring it to above his nose. I'm gonna notch in and take off the fringe. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Gather this section, pull it to the middle, and take off the little ends. That way you end up with a nice softness in the front instead of a really severe fringe. The final detail of this is gonna be cleaning up the hairline. And when you're young like this, you don't tend to have a lot of neck hair. Rocco is pretty clean through here. I would keep the soft hairline. But if you're cleaning up like a husband or something like that, you might find that their hairline goes down into their neck. So those are the hairs that you wanna clean up. But one thing you wanna be careful of is that you're not cutting up into this natural hairline. So I'm gonna use my little clippers and I'm gonna pull down just on the little baby neck hairs. I'm gonna move the long hair out of the way, and I'm gonna just come from underneath and clean up just the little stray neck hairs without cutting into his hairline. There. Then style you up. So cute. Thanks for being my great model.